much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Daily Nebraskan Show, and I am Ben Jones, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, and I'm joined here by Joseph Meyer, the senior sports editor.
We're back.
Joseph, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It is we got a very fun show upcoming. We've got Super Bowl preview because that is coming up. This is our last show before the Super Bowl, so we got to dive into that. The NFL awards were tonight, so I want to get your thoughts on a couple of those awards. I have some qualms with some of them. And also might dive into a little bit of Nebraska offseason content with National Signing Day, the second go-around happening yesterday. But the biggest news of the night is Nebraska softball, one of the most anticipated seasons in a long time, with Jordy Ball returning to Lincoln. Started off tonight, and it did not start well. No. Nebraska got run-ruled in 5 innings by Washington. And Jordy Ball went out of the game with an injury. Are we cursed here, Ben? Is this university cursed?
No.
It
may feel like it, but no. It's just bad luck.
Because I saw Jordy Ball go out of that game, and I said, that's not even surprising.
Yeah, I mean, first game of the season. I mean, at least if the injury was going to happen, it's early. It's not like...
Yeah, we don't have any confirmation on what it is, but I mean, how funny... Yeah. I don't mean funny, but like, how sad is that? Like, to have all of this build up and hype, and just immediately in the 3rd inning, she goes out, and you lose 8-0 to a very, very good Washington team.
Yeah.
So, but it's about as worse of a start to the season as you could have hoped for, when they're literally building more seats for the all anticipation that's coming to Lincoln. But it's just game 1. They've got plenty of time. I guess that's the glass half full look at it there.
I mean, yeah, we'll have to see how significant Jordy Ball's injury is.
Hopefully not at all.
I didn't hear anything that it was too serious. No. So
I'm sure we'll hear more
Nebraska's probably going to play it safe with her. If she's
100%.
not 100%, she's probably not going to go against Duke. So in their next game, which is tomorrow
at 12:30 against
which in an hour
another really, really good team.
Yeah. So, they're probably going to play safe with her, but yeah, unfortunate for softball in their first game. But on the Owl VIP line, we have Ben Beecham, who wrote a preview article on the Nebraska softball team. Ben, do we have you on the line?
Yes.
Perfect. Ben, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
Awesome. Kind of just want to jump straight into it. I mean, so can you kind of just talk about your article and what you kind of what your article kind of went through for the softball team this year?
Yeah, so I just sort of previewed their start of the season in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I went through highlighted some of their important players for this upcoming season, and just went over some of the expectations that they have for this year for themselves and from the media.
Yeah, it was a really interesting article. Go check it out on the site if you haven't.
DailyNebraskan.com.
DailyNebraskan.com if you haven't checked that out already. So thanks for previewing the season for us, Ben. One of the coolest things that I found when writing your article was the hype that this team has kind of built up, obviously because of Jordy Ball, but that didn't really seem to phase her. Now, Ben, I know we would have loved to talk to you about this before the season actually started, and it started off not in the best way.
Yeah.
But you kind of dove into what Ball said and some of the preseason availabilities that she had. What was kind of something interesting you found when diving into her, and maybe just something about her personality, her character, going into a very, very important season with a lot of eyes on her?
Yeah, she's just a really humble player. She just kind of sees herself as another one of the players on the team, even though the media is just viewing her as the star, which, I mean, she kind of is.
For sure.
She doesn't really see it that way. She doesn't see the spotlight on her. I think the direct quote from her on February 3rd is, "There's not a spotlight if you don't think about there ever being a spotlight."
Yeah, I saw that. It really it's really fascinating. Like, she's clearly done it all. Like, Jordy Ball, the softball player, has clearly done it all. She's been there. She's done it all. But she's searching for something more this season. And, you know, we really hope that injury is not going to keep her out for an extended period of time. But that's what she's here to do at Nebraska. Like, she could go anywhere in the country and contend for a national championship. She wants to come back home. Like, that trophy case is full. You look at her accolades, you look at some of the awards she's won, like, her trophy case is full. She's got a secondary trophy case, and the second one is overflowing. She has to put everything else on the floor. Twice first team All-American, twice national champion, Women's College World Series most outstanding player. Only has 2 losses as a freshman and sophomore. She got her first one tonight. Ben, I know you were just kind of following along with the game against Washington. Any big takeaways from this one, or is this kind of like a wash? Like, ball goes out, you're playing a great team in Mexico, first game of the season, getting through some of those jitters?
I'm taking this with a grain of salt. I mean, first game jitters in Mexico. They only had 2 hits as a team, and they all came from one player.
Yep.
It's rough to look at it. It doesn't give you good expectations for this season, but they're a great team. They return a lot of people, so I'm taking this game lightly.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel like these especially for softball, like the beginning non-con tournaments that they have. I mean,
you're in Mexico, like,
it's not like, I mean, we'll have to see how this team does. You know, I mean, I'm not really going to look into it at all, really, until we get closer to Big Ten play, which is a pretty long ways away.
It's still pretty well. It's been nice this week, but it's still cold in Lincoln. Like, and I'm sure we're going to get a second winter here, so not time for Ballance Stadium to open up just quite yet.
I mean, these games. I mean, obviously you want to win every game you can, but like, these are just feeler games in my opinion, especially when you're going against number 7 Washington, and then you have,
good.
And then you have number 11 Duke next. I mean, it's just like these are just tough games. One thing I do want to ask you though, Ben, is while Ball is getting all of the attention, which she should be, is there kind of an X factor besides Ball that you feel this Nebraska softball team has on their roster?
I would say it's Billie Andrews. She was probably one of their best players last year. Was named in the top 100 players list. I think she was ranked number 56 according to Softball America. So Ball's kind of taking a lot of spotlight away from her, but she's a very good hitter. She's a senior along with her sister Brooke, and I think she's going to be big for them this season.
Yeah, there's a lot of returning talent. I know the injury bug has kind of already been hitting. Abby Squires already out for the year. That was announced last week. And now Ball goes out tonight. You hope that this is not a recurring theme for the season because, like, yes, Ball is going to garner all of the attention and it's going to put eyes on Nebraska softball. But this is a team that just 2 years ago, when I was a freshman covering the beat, won the Big Ten championship and made a run in the NCAA tournament. So a team that has a lot of experience returning a lot of talent. They lose their veteran pitchers and bring in another veteran pitcher in Ball. And I mean, you got to feel good going forward. Like you said, Ben, earlier, it's number 7 Washington. It's on the road. It's the first game of the season. I won't go as far to say expectation or exhibition vibes game, because again, it's a ranked matchup.
Yeah.
You want to win those, but you can't take too much from this. A run-ruled game, 8-0, when your starting pitcher goes down, it's not a great sign to see. Yeah, Ava Bredwell was the only player to have a hit tonight. She had 2, the catcher. So,
yeah,
again, like, you want to get the bats going, but they're going against Ruby Mayland, who is from Scott. So 2 Omaha pitchers, the Papillion and Scott pitchers, going back against each other in Mexico.
Interesting.
Fascinating storyline. Yeah. Mayland got the better of Ball tonight. She pitched a shutout. Quite ironic, in my opinion. Ben, any other big takeaways you got from kind of previewing the Nebraska softball season? Anything else that stood out from the press conferences, maybe specifically?
I think they're just all really excited just to play this season. They're really excited to play in Lincoln with the renovations to their stadium.
Yeah.
They're all excited to be back together. I mean, a lot of returners, so this team has chemistry already. They're excited to see where they can go, because it's some of the greatest expectations they've had probably in their careers at Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, last season when I was covering the team, while it's not at all like, Memorial Stadium or anything like that, like it's a fun vibe. It's fun to be there. Like
100%.
It's definitely a different vibe. It feels like a small stadium, but there's quite a number of people that show up to those games. Like, and it's so fun because because it's not thousands and thousands of people there. I kind of like when I'm sitting in the press booth, I'm kind of like, oh, I recognize that guy. I recognize that guy.
You see the returners.
It's the same. It's like same.
They've built a really good culture over there, and I think that really goes back to Ravel. Watching her preseason press conference, you could tell the excitement is still there, and it's always there. But this season, like you said, with the stadium renovations, with Ball coming in with expectations at the highest, it's going to be hard to, they're not going to want to disappoint those fans, right? And so I think it's a really important opportunity for them to kind of step up to the plate and deliver here. But yeah, Ball tonight, just 2.5, not even 2.5 innings, 2.1 innings, gave up 3 runs. Now she only gave up 2 hits, 4 walks, and hit a batter. So not a great start even before the injury. It's possible something was nagging from the beginning. We don't have great reporting out there. Unfortunately, DN budget does not have anyone to send us to Mexico. Sorry, Ben, we could not send you out to Mexico for this game. Maybe we'll send you tomorrow morning at 12:30.
Maybe next year.
If you can catch a flight, we might send you. But so maybe could have been something nagging going on there, but got out of a tough situation, actually. Had 2 batters on in the first inning and was able to get out of it. And then in the second inning, she hit a batter, walked another, then a wild pitch and a steal. So she had base runners on third and second with no outs, only gave up 1 run in the inning. So there's a couple good takeaways to come away with here. But then in the third, it kind of all cascaded down. She goes out, relief pitcher comes in, gives up three runs in the inning. So ultimately not the start you want to see. Ben, any other things we should be looking for going forward with this team that you maybe, want to point to?
I think this team's going to be really good in the high stress situations. Shorty Ball talked a lot in her preseason press conferences about what she calls the 5%. And it's an analogy she takes from the fire service, which her dad works in, and about how they train only for 5% of the worst of of their job. And that they want to bring that to their team. They want to train for the high pressure situations in the game. I think that's going to help them a lot, especially when they're on a bigger stage this year than they have been before.
Yeah, you had a line at the end of a quote. He said, "Our goal is to be the last team standing." That's a lofty goal.
She's reiterated it.
She's never not been there.
Yeah.
Like back to back, like she wants to be there again. And clearly something has worked with her to be able to win the Women's College World Series Player of the Tournament. Like she's got that 5% rule clearly is something she lives by.
Yeah, she clearly, she said over and over again at these press conferences that Nebraska's going to be competing for a national, they're going to be competing for a national championship. Like that's her goal. That's why she came here. She wanted to do something different. She's been she's had lots of success, but to do it at a place like Nebraska, it's just something that not every player, gets to have. So it's kind of giving me the same vibes as Raiola a little bit, except Ball's kind of more of like a hometown hero, I feel like.
Definitely more hometown.
Yeah.
More experience, clearly, but same vibe for sure.
Yeah. You're saying, you asked at the beginning of the show, is Nebraska cursed? They got one of the best quarterback recruits in the country. Men's basketball is finally turning around. Nebraska volleyball is Nebraska volleyball. Softball got one of the best players, maybe the best college softball player in the nation.
Yeah.
Women's
basketball got Britt Prince. So
soccer just made it to the Elite Eight.
So maybe they're not cursed.
No.
But I'm not gonna, have a final say until that selection Sunday or Nebraska, softball makes the NCAA tournament. Like, there's plenty of time. As we've learned, there's plenty of time for a lot to go wrong.
I think a lot of it is just like, this is the first time where I feel like fans are finally starting to feel hope. Hope is not something that has been around Nebraska.
It hasn't
in the last decade. There just has not been. Maybe when Frost was here for football, there was a little bit of hope.
See, that's what I was going to ask you. Is this gives me a little bit of a vibes of Frost's big, obviously on a lesser scale, but Frost's first game and it's canceled. And this is the same thing. Ball's first game and she goes out.
Let's hope it turns out better than the Frost era.
It couldn't get much worse.
No.
Ben, any last thoughts on Nebraska softball going into this season? I know you touched on the humbleness of Jordy Ball. I think it's so fascinating. Like, for us, we think sometimes like, oh, I'd be in that situation, I'd be humble. Like, I wouldn't, have a big ego or anything. And then you see some of these players, get to the heights, and rightly so, be kind of a boisterous personality and start to grow an ego. She clearly hasn't done that. It is all team first. But as that team, I know you listen to Ravel talk as well. Any last thoughts about what this team can do going forward, Ben?
I just think they have the potential. I think they have confidence in themselves that they can go far. I don't think they'll be shaken up from this first game. I think they'll bounce back stronger. I think they have it in them to go all the way.
Ball definitely thinks so.
I'm sure the team does as well.
And if your top player,
she's so
coach,
team first.
Yes, if the whole team believes it, they have a chance. Especially when I feel like they do have enough talent on it. I think they have enough top talent on the team.
For sure.
I think the only problem I feel like with the roster is that I don't feel like there's as much depth as there is with other teams, in my opinion. Like, obviously, they got Jordy Ball, both the Andrews sisters. They have the top talent. I just don't know if this
Squire
team,
being out hurts.
Yeah.
That's a veteran that's played well and at a high level for a long time.
Yeah. They're going to need the depth is going to maybe be an issue this year, especially I feel like pitching as well, behind Ball. How much does Nebraska have in the pitching room? But that was kind of the same thing as last year, though. After Courtney Wallace, it was a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah. Kaylin Kinney, she has the, she's got the talent, I think, to be, that second option to Ball. But, tonight when she's not warmed up and ready to go in and you suffer 3 runs in 1 inning before she even gets out into the circle. So, I think a lot of times we don't give credence to softball here. There's a lot of women's sports.
I'm more excited. Well. I'm more excited about softball than baseball this year.
Me, 100% is as well. And I am just a huge softball fan. I ever since being a young guy, like, I always loved softball, and then I got to cover it freshman year and just fell in love with the sport here. It's such a niche culture, but it is so fun.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you, Ben, to be able to cover that this season. But yeah, interesting stuff going forward. I'm not sure, that the expectation can necessarily be national title because, again, it's not an elite level program.
I don't think.
But shoot for the moon.
That's the expectation for the team. I think, that's the expectation they have on themselves. I feel like for the team, it's just Nebraska should be a ranked team pretty much throughout this year. This loss definitely doesn't help right away. Nebraska's number 18. I don't know if they'll still be top 25 after this loss.
They'll be top 25. They're not going to get knocked for that.
If they lose to Washington and Duke, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Again, you're in that middle.
It's so early in the season.
It's too early.
It's so early in the season. If they do fall out of the top 25, it doesn't really matter. Like, Nebraska's going to be one of the top ranked teams in the country, and
it's exciting,
especially when they get in the Big Ten play. Like, I feel like every time with the softball team, when they get into Big Ten play, that's especially when this team kind of starts to take a corner. And
I believe it was
turn the corner.
I can't remember how many wins in a row they had 2 years ago, but it was just, you knew they were going to show up and win a game. Ben, do you have any more questions for Ben? Because I got one more.
You can go.
That's unrelated to softball, Ben. So sorry to throw you on the spot, but being Super Bowl Sunday coming up here, we're going to have to get your pick for the Super Bowl. Chiefs 49ers. Give us a winner and give us a score prediction if you have one.
I mean, it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes in a big game. I'm going to go Chiefs 20-17. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game.
I'll bet against him.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to dive into that in a bit. It sounds like we're going to be in disagreement here. So thanks for starting off our debate, Ben.
Appreciate it.
But thanks so much for writing that softball preview article. Again, if you have not read it, go check it out on the site. It's a really fun one, and you get to get a little personality out of the players and the coaches if you haven't watched the press conferences. But thanks again, Ben, for coming on and covering softball for us this season.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, that was Ben Beecham on the Owl VIP line. We had a Facebook comment that says, I have hope, guys. Yes, not like Frost, although I had hope during the Frost era. I love Rule and what he's doing. UCF was a small-time program with no schedule. Rule's doing it all. Recruiting, NIL, transfer portal. He is loved. Not easy, but he fits so quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely feels like, I feel like with Frost, it was kind of just like a lot of, he would get these transfers and like the media would just pump him up and say, oh man, these are all just great players. And it's just like, it never turned on the field. Like, I feel like for Rule, you can see actually on the field, not just what people are saying. Like, you can actually see what Rule is trying to do with this team. And
for sure,
it definitely feels different. We'll touch more on football, though, later when we get into the Rule press conference.
Second National Signing Day.
Yeah.
It's a crazy world we live in where there's two of them.
And it's great.
It's
I love
fun. It's awesome. More content for us to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So, but we got to throw it to break. When we come back, like you said, we're going to get into
Super
NFL
Bowl
talk, Super Bowl. And
NFL
then,
awards as well.
Yes, and NFL awards. And last segment, we're getting to talk about Rule and the football team after the Rule press conference the other day. So all that and more is coming right here on the Day One Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8. This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice-integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness. And now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is Nebraska's premier NIL company. And with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. So now, me and Joseph are going to kick off the conversation with NFL.
Yeah.
Super Bowl coming up on
exciting
Sunday. Chiefs 49ers.
What a surprise.
It's the Super Bowl everybody wanted.
It is. Now, I would love to hear your thoughts because I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to watch this Super Bowl.
And that's such crap. They're all going to watch it.
That's my thing. It's like, we complain about stars, but we love stars. I mean, come on. Like, all those years of Tom Brady playing in the Super Bowl, like, everybody hated it. Everybody tuned in, and everybody rooted against him. And it was fun.
Oh, I had fun rooting against Brady.
It's fun to have a villain, and now it's no longer the Patriots. It's now the Chiefs. It's fun to have a villain. So I don't like this whole, like, I wish it was like two obscure teams playing the playoffs. Like, I'm going to watch regardless. But I like when all of America tunes in because I genuinely think this could be one of the most highest rated Super Bowls ever.
See, this is what I think is funny with like social media. So I know I'm going into the NBA. So everybody hated it when it was Cavs Warriors for like 5 or maybe 100 for 100 straight years. Yeah, it was still good games every single time. But then when it was the Bucks Suns, everyone's like, "Man, I'm not watching this." The Bucks and the Suns, like,
or even like the Nuggets and the Heat this year. Like, I'm a Nuggets fan. I like the Nuggets and I like the Timberwolves. I recognize that those two teams in the finals is not going to garner as much star
But this is
power.
what I'm saying. So it's like either it's the teams that are supposed to get there, they complain, or teams when they're not teams that it's like they still complain.
Like,
it's
if it was Jaguars Lions, I'd love that. I think it'd be a fun matchup. It's not going to garner the same headlines, and it's not going to bring in as many viewers. And for a fan of the sport that wants the sport to grow, I love that millions and millions of people are going to tune in just because they know Patrick Mahomes, they know Travis Kelce, they know Taylor Swift, and they might know Brock Purdy or a couple.
And the 49ers
star-studded.
Yeah. I mean, while it might not be your favorite teams, it's going to be a good game.
100%.
It's going to be
the last time,
be a great game.
The 2020, I guess it was 2020 Super Bowl, the 2019-2020 season when it was Chiefs 49ers.
That was a great game.
Great game. Fun game. Great halftime show.
Better than Rams Patriots.
Yeah. If you're a defensive guy, that might have been fun, but
no. Even if
like Super Bowl is one of those events where you want it to be high scoring, you want it to be a big event, you want the halftime show to hit, you want the commercials to rock, you want all the people who never tune into football to watch it. Like, I'm not one of those guys that's like, I don't want people who aren't fans of football to tune in because it's my sport. Like, I want the Super Bowl to be something that everyone's talking about.
And that's what Taylor Swift is doing.
100%. I want to be able to walk into my class on Monday and everybody's talking about it, not just the football fans. Like, that's what's fun. Like in high school when people were talking about the commercials and the halftime show and the game.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's sports. It's what we love to do. We love to talk about sports. And I like it when everyone else does as well.
I feel like all the people that hate that Taylor Swift is like getting shown are just like the hardcore NFL fans. Like, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, it does. I mean, it's some people get tired of seeing her all the time on social media. I mean, you just scroll by it. I mean, it's just like
yeah.
I mean,
they show a lot of different things during the game. If you're a true football realist, you're not going to like the Super Bowl anyway because it's half commercials and half halftime show.
Yeah.
Like more people tune in
and then
for the
it's going to
halftime
be
show.
a fourth Taylor Swift anyways. So
Right, like, and I can't blame it because it's a production, it's a show.
Yeah.
It's not just football. The Super Bowl. I love the football part of it. But what I love more is the whole pomp and circumstance around it. The NFL awards this week, the media week, all week, the show, the pomp and circumstance around the whole thing. It's just so fun. It's what sets the NFL apart of other leagues.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it.
See, okay, before we get into the game and like score predictions, everything, are you excited for their halftime show with Usher?
I can't I'm always excited for the halftime show because I love I'm kind of one of those weirdos that likes talking about the halftime show.
Oh, I like
a little
I
more
love
than the Super Bowl sometimes.
I love the halftime shows, even though everyone I swear everyone on social media people on social media just hate it. They just hate the hate. I mean, but I thought Rihanna did a pretty good job when they had Eminem in the halftime show. That was
the
good.
last two have been great in my opinion.
Yeah,
I love Rihanna's was not the biggest production level. But her songs carry that performance.
It was just a banger after banger for songs.
So many good songs.
And there was still so many top platinum hits because she didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
There was
iconic
so many
moments.
Yeah.
But then the year before, again, iconic artists.
It's like Eminem only sang one song.
Right. And there's Snoop Dogg up there. And it's just a moment. I don't know if Usher could pull that same. I like some of Usher's stuff, but I don't know if he pulls that same pop.
See, I don't think
that we've seen over the last 2 years.
I think it's going to be more of a performance.
Okay.
Then he's not as big of an. I mean, okay, let me step back. I don't think he has as many top songs as Rihanna.
No, not at all.
But I mean, he's a name. He's a big name in the music industry. We just got a text on the text line. Lady Gaga's show rocked.
Oh yeah. We were a little young for. I can't remember what year.
But I mean, you can go back and watch every Super Bowl halftime show.
I think the first one I saw was Black Eyed Peas, which was. That one very controversial.
That was bad.
It was so bad that it was kind of good.
It was bad.
It was kind of fun.
No, it was just bad. But no, I think Usher.
Beyonce is one of my favorites.
Beyonce's was good. Was that the Super Bowl 50 halftime show with? It was her,
Bruno Mars.
Yeah,
that one was fun.
They went all out for that. But I think Usher, while he might not have as many of the top songs, he's gonna put on a performance. It's gonna be I feel like the Super Bowl halftime performance is gonna be an actual performance for the first time since. I mean, The Weeknd is the first one that comes to mind, but that was
just
COVID.
Such a weird
it was
one.
during COVID.
Yeah.
Maybe when J-Lo was on.
Oh, that was one of my favorites. That I love, dude. I freaking love J-Lo, and that it just felt like the Miami just felt right to be there.
Yeah, I mean that Super Bowl halftime show was cool because they were singing Spanish songs and everything, so it brought another demographic
100%.
into it. So I mean that was one of the more popular ones.
Katy Perry is probably my favorite though. I'm not gonna lie.
Katy Perry, nobody can rock a stage like Katy Perry. I don't care.
It was the set design was so incredible in that one. She's on a horse. She's dancing.
She's on a lion.
Did I say horse?
Yes,
lion.
Lion. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was thinking dark horse.
Yeah, I know. There was a horse in Dark Horse.
Okay.
But she wasn't riding it. It was just
It's been a while. It's been a while, but I remember that one because I was I don't remember whether we were at 12, but I was just this is awesome. I love
And then
football.
we got the left shark meme.
Oh, yeah. Left shark meme. Dancing with Sharks, all in the same performance. We haven't had one of those in a while. The Lady Gaga.
I feel like Usher, it's going to be cool. I feel like
I'm sure the set design will be cool.
Yeah, the choreography is going to be really cool. Everything. Ben Beecham on the YouTube stream said Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars was a classic.
Coldplay was one I forgot.
Yeah,
that was
I
cool
was I knew there was another one.
It was outside, so it was bright out, but you still felt like it was a show.
Yeah,
and they have so many bangers as well. I don't think Usher can be necessarily carried by his music the way Rihanna. It didn't matter if she just stood there.
She
could have stood there
just
and not moved, and I would have loved it, and I would have sang along with every song. I don't know if Usher can do that, but again, like you said, maybe more of a production.
It's going to be more of a production. But all right.
We
should actually probably get into the actual game. So Chiefs 49ers. First off, I want to say Everyone's saying don't count out Patrick Mahomes. I'm doing it. I think 49ers are way too talented of a team. That's just my first. I'm coming right out the gates.
I would love to agree with you here.
I think the 49ers are just too talented of a team. I don't care. As long as Brock Purdy just plays average, they win. And he's been doing that. Just play average.
I know. I want to agree with you so bad. I want to agree.
Just do it.
I want to see Mahomes lose. I want him out of my nightmares. I want him out of my division. But I will never, ever count him out. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
He can't win every year.
That's what I said last year.
But he hadn't won for like what, the 2 years prior than that? Or what was it?
1 year.
Was it two?
One.
It was
I think
two.
It was one because they beat the 49ers in 2020.
But then they lost to the Buccaneers.
Oh, you're right. They lost the Buccaneers. And then there was the Rams Bengals.
See,
So it was 2 years.
So, it's like he gets every 2 years. So this is like
I said
year,
they would never win another Super Bowl when they lost Tyreek Hill because I think he's that good of a player, and I still think he's that good of a player. Like he is that guy. But I can't count him out. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm sorry. I hate to do it. Because here I'm hedging my bets here.
How dare you?
I'm either extremely disappointed, but I got the pick right, or I'm ecstatic.
This is where you go.
And no one will remember that I'm wrong.
See, you're not even analyzing. You're just wanting to not. You
can't analyze the Super Bowl. We've already talked about this. We've talked about the halftime show for 15 minutes. But yeah, I genuinely think Mahomes is just so talented, and Andy Reid is so good in big moments. I wouldn't be surprised if Travis Kelce has another signature moment. And as long as enter name of Chiefs wide receiver here doesn't drop a big pass late in the game,
he's not even going to play.
It could be any. It could be any.
It could be anybody who you're.
I'm just saying,
about.
Any Chiefs wide receiver drops a pass. I think that's the only way they lose.
I thought you were going specific with Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. Well, he should. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
All right. Well,
if I was a Chiefs fan, I would never want to see that man in uniform again. But.
I mean, this is the funniest thing. It's like, when Tom Brady didn't have any weapons, like I feel like no one was kind of talking about it. But now that Patrick Mahomes has no weapons, it's kind of like, oh man. I mean, he has Kelce. But like,
yeah. He also has Andy Reid, who's an absolute weapon at a cheeseburger restaurant. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to see that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have any wide receivers really on his team.
I don't think it matters. I think Rashee Rice is really good. I think
he's good.
Isaiah Pacheco is just gonna he's just gonna run you over.
He's gonna be on their team for like however many years left he has on his rookie contract, and they won't re-sign him because he'll be too expensive,
and it won't matter. And then they'll bring in the next guy.
Yeah. So
yeah. Do you have an official pick?
Oh yeah, 49ers.
Do you have a score prediction?
I got 24-20.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay. So we have the same score prediction, opposite result.
Okay.
So either
we did not plan
if 24-20 happens, one of us is right.
But that's probably not going to happen now.
It's probably not going to happen. I've got San Francisco's favored in this game, which is I'm sorry. If I was a betting man, I would never put my money against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I don't care how talented the 49ers are. Now, here's the thing. I love Brock Purdy. And I told you this on Tuesday. I want to talk about Brock Purdy.
Love is a strong word.
I love Brock Purdy. Iowa State, like total like culture guy. Like he is the culture guy. He is the Matt Rule culture guy.
Okay.
Last pick in the draft.
Yep.
Third string quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who just saw his second string quarterback play a few games, Easton Stick, and lose 63-17 to the Raiders. I think that's what the final score was. I don't know. I stopped watching the second quarter.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, thanks for letting me know because I actually did stop watching that game, and I don't think I watched much football.
What sane person would have kept watching?
No, absolutely not. He was the second string quarterback. Max Duggan, your national champion appearing quarterback, by the way, was our third string. If I had to trust Max Duggan to lead my team to a Super Bowl, no matter how talented my roster was, I wouldn't even dare do it. He was a 7th round guy too. Brock Purdy is the David and Goliath story. I want him to win. I want him to play well so badly. Nothing upsets me more. And if the 49ers win and people say, oh, it's just because he had the talent around him, that frustrates me so much because it's like
that's what's gonna happen.
If he wins, it's like, okay, well, he has Debo and he has Ayuk and he has CMC and he has Kittle and he has Shanahan. He has that defense. He has Nick Bosa, Chase Young, who's not very good, but is a big name. Won't get the credit for the win. But if they lose and he doesn't play the best, it's all on him. It's totally Brock Purdy's fault.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the NFL right now. It's getting too much NBA where it's like, oh, it's just the star's fault. It's just the quarterback's fault. So I'm hoping Brock Purdy throws 3 touchdowns. I'm hoping the 49ers win. However, I think the Chiefs will win, sadly. He's going to hoist that trophy, and Travis Kelce will kiss Taylor as the confetti falls, and that clip will get 10 million likes on TikTok.
I feel like you're the kind of guy that probably did bet on the line. Will Travis Kelce propose, yes or no? It's an actual line.
Is it an actual line?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think so. I think...
Yeah. The no is the favorite right now.
I think she wouldn't let him propose to her in that moment. Like,
no.
She's not selfish enough to do that.
All right. What are we even talking about anymore? We're talking about Taylor Swift proposing to Kelce. All right. I need to get my take in.
Okay. Let's hear your take.
All right. So I agree with you. I think if 49er fans wouldn't have pushed back so hard saying Brock Purdy was the next Joe Montana, I feel like there wouldn't be so much hate against him. Like, that's the problem. When you got 49ers fans saying he's Joe Montana, NFL fans are saying he's terrible. He's somewhere in the middle.
I don't have that many 49er fans, or just a loud few on Twitter been saying he's the next Joe Montana or the next Tom Brady. The next Steve Young.
I've seen enough.
One is probably too many, but I do love Brock Purdy. Okay, so if he wins the Super Bowl, where does he like?
What do you mean?
He goes on a short list of players who have won a Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, Joe Flacco wasn't great, but he's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
I mean,
there's not that many of them. That would mean Joe. This is funny. Brock Purdy would have the same amount of Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers.
That is pretty funny.
I love that.
That is pretty
And they are
funny.
totally opposite dudes, by the way.
Okay, this is what I don't get. I feel like he's more hated because 49er fans are just saying he's the greatest ever.
It's not him.
It's not. I mean, I don't get why he's. I mean, I feel like that's the only reason. Because if you actually just look at his story, like, it's honestly such a cool story.
It's awesome story. He's so humble.
He's
we're talking
only
about Jordy
in his second year.
Humble. Second year, humblest guy you've ever seen. Like, totally team first.
Yeah.
Like, CMC should be MVP. Not even me. Like, no doubt about it.
I think it's because he was also getting MVP votes, and that was a little ridiculous.
He was a finalist tonight at the awards.
Which, he's not an MVP.
No, I agree with that, but I love him.
I mean, I just feel like that might be another reason why people were like, what the
People love to hate on Twitter. It doesn't matter.
It is true.
It doesn't matter who you are. You can have the most inspiring story. You will get hit on Twitter. Now, sometimes, myself, I don't go to Twitter with my, with my takes, but there are some times where, I'll hate on a couple guys because I don't love their fans. Not necessarily. I don't love them. Like, I don't have anything against Lamar. I just don't like Raven fans. I don't even have anything against Tua. Just not a big fan of Dolphins fans outside of you. So, like,
I'm a sane Dolphin fan.
You're a sane Dolphins fan. There's a lot of not sane Dolphins fans.
No, yeah.
So here, I have a question for you. This is like a Super Bowl Magic 8 Ball here.
All right.
So you can say yes, no, maybe, probably, right?
All right.
The Chiefs win, but someone other than Mahomes wins MVP.
No.
So if the Chiefs win and Mahomes winning MVP?
Yes.
There's
no alternate. Travis Kelce would have to catch like 8 touchdowns for him to get.
What if it's like 14-7 and Pacheco has 2 touchdowns?
It'd still be Mahomes.
You're right. It'll be Mahomes. Mahomes could win it and lose. Like, they could lose the Super Bowl and they'd still be like, what? Mahomes was great.
I don't think they do that.
Some people said that after the Bucs beat them. I think some people were saying that Mahomes played so good in the Super Bowl against the Bucs that he should get MVP votes in that. All right, Magic 8 Ball. Brock Purdy throws 3 touchdowns on his way to a Super Bowl championship.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. So you did pick the Niners.
Yes.
I love it. I want to see it so bad. Could you imagine the haters if Brock Purdy throws 3 touchdowns and wins Super Bowl MVP?
Because this is my thing. The Chiefs' run defense is underrated.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they have CMC.
We saw it last week.
And they're going to run the ball. I feel like the 49ers are going to throw a kink in their scheme. And I feel like Brock Purdy's fine. This needs to be the game where Brock Purdy finally, I don't want to say unleashed, but like where he's not just doing check down passes. Like Brock Purdy is an actually good football player. He's not a great football quarterback. Not a great quarterback. I keep saying football quarterback. That's weird. He's not a great quarterback, but he's a good enough quarterback to have that kind of performance against a Chiefs
pass defense that I don't really respect as much as their run defense. The Chiefs defense is good, but I feel like the Ravens, like if the Ravens would have just ran the ball more, they would have beat the Chiefs, in my opinion.
I think so too. I also just think the 49ers pass offense is miles better than the Ravens pass offense.
That is true also. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to say yes. I think Brock Purdy is going to have I think he's going to have a good
that. Game. That's going on Twitter. Marquez Valdez-Scantling drops a game-winning bomb from Mahomes. I kind of queued this one up earlier.
That's so specific. Can I just say like a Chiefs wide receiver does
Chiefs wide receiver does it.
Okay, sure.
Okay, wow.
I'll say sure.
That'd be fun. Some of these are kind of going on your script here. The Chiefs win after a mind-blowing penalty bails them out.
No, because I picked 49ers.
Okay. See, I think that's how they would do it. It'd be like 20.
Only way is the refs.
Yeah, that's the only way they could win. Not like Mahomes going crazy or Kelsey putting up 3 touchdowns.
No, only way.
All right, last one. Chiefs are losing at half. Goodell comes down from his press box, steps in, makes a call to New York, rigs the game for the Chiefs.
Maybe.
That's the magic 8 ball. I'll say yes.
Maybe.
I'll say yes.
All right. You're
Goodell
confident. You're confident.
wants it so bad. And I don't blame him at all. I would too if I were in his position.
There's so much money on
They're
the line.
the most marketable team in sports, in my opinion.
Probably. I mean, probably even more marketable than like the Lakers and Celtics in the NBA.
Yeah, because they're just, I mean, at this point in the Super Bowl with 2 mega stars, and one of them happens to be dating the most famous woman in the world, most marketable team in football.
Okay. I want to ask this. I want to take like soccer out of it because, or like, I want to say like stick with American sports. Cause if I were to say who's the most popular athlete in the league, in the world, it'd probably be like Messi or somebody like that. You know what I mean? So in American sports, who's the most popular athlete? Like who is the most well-known
I think it's
athlete?
Probably still LeBron.
Okay.
Because of the international,
I guess,
the international following.
Probably. But Patrick Mahomes is the next.
Patrick Mahomes is next, I would have to say.
He's next.
I'm not familiar with the NBA's, international audience enough to know whether like
they have a
Curry could be pushing him. But like stateside, Mahomes is next, I feel like.
I mean, Curry is the number 1 in jersey sales in the NBA.
That's true.
So Curry, he kind of is. I don't know if face of the league is the best thing, but like he changed the game so much.
Yeah.
And for being one of the best players in the league, he doesn't get as much hate as I feel like. Once he won the Warriors won their last when he won his 4th championship.
It was the same thing of like, why do we keep picking against the Warriors? Same thing with like Mahomes. Like, why do we keep picking
I
against
think
Mahomes?
that last I know we kind of got off NFL talk, but that last championship for the Warriors, like I stopped seeing hate comments for Curry. Now it's just like, man, Curry's team sucks. Like it's kind of like Tom Brady-esque, where some people might not like him.
It doesn't matter. He's great.
He's just so good.
Greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Curry's up there. I'm sure Giannis is up there internationally.
Probably.
Doesn't have that same pull stateside yet as like a Mahomes or even a Kelsey.
I think Mahomes is next. Then Brock Purdy's a close second.
I would have loved it to see it.
I'm just kidding. That was.
I don't know if my mom knows who Brock Purdy is. She definitely knows who Mahomes is, and she definitely knows who Travis Kelsey
I don't think my mom knows who.
But
Brock
she
Purdy
will
is.
after he wins.
When he throws
and
three touchdowns and the 49ers win 24-20. She will know. She will know.
Oh,
all right, we got to
awesome.
throw it to break. So, okay, so we both have
24-20. You have 49ers, I have Chiefs.
Okay.
But go 49ers, go Brock Purdy.
All right, so you're rooting for the 49ers, but you think it's going to be Chiefs.
Yep.
See, last year I thought it was going to be the Eagles, but I was going for the Chiefs. So.
Okay. So maybe it'll be whatever team you're going for this year.
I'm going for the 49ers.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 49ers.
Okay, so you're locked up there. Awesome. Good to hear.
Then again, it's never what I want, so.
No.
It'll probably be Chiefs. But we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to get NFL football talk. Matt Rule had a press conference the other day. Second National Signing Day. We want to touch on that more right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Attention all Wings fans! 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
The first and only African-American male to win the U.S. Open and Wimbledon, champion tennis player Arthur Ashe was denied entry to South Africa in 1969.
The law is the law and I cannot play. So I drive away from that with my coach, knowing that the only reason I could not play was because I was black.
We salute star athlete and fighter for justice, Arthur Ashe, during Black History Month.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group are Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We got one last segment here, and a couple things I want to talk to you about, Ben. Here again with Ben Droz, Joseph Meyer. So, National Signing Day, the second time around, was yesterday.
Yesterday, yep.
And Matt Rule had a press conference. They actually pushed the press conference back like 4 hours.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
To accommodate for a big sign that they were going to have that was announced. Keona Wilhite transfers from Washington. So he had signed with Washington in the last cycle. And then Kalen DeBoer goes to Alabama. So he's open to his recruitment. And Nebraska's like, hey, we'll be second. We'll be your second choice, man. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this because this has kind of opened up a new world in the recruiting space. Far in the past, this was the signing day, but early enrollees, the transfer portal, and just the overall landscape of college sports has made it where that December signing day is the big one. That's the signing day. This was the second one. And you're at a point where that month between the first and the second, can be pretty important for a school like Nebraska, who's picking off some of these other guys that either decommit or never found a home in the first cycle.
As much as I don't want the transfer portal to feel like free agency, it does feel like free agency. See, the portal, a lot, like, this is how I view it, how it's been working. Okay. I view it a lot like NBA free agency. So NBA free agency, there's like 2 weeks, and there's like a huge, like, there's a, I'm forgetting what the term is, but it's like the week before the signing, before the actual like free agency starts, a lot of like the deals are like saying, oh, they're probably going to sign with this team, probably going to sign with this team. And it's not until they actually do to when all the other pieces start falling in. So like role players don't want to sign with a team until they know where the star players are going to go. And I feel like with football is not basketball, so it's not quite like that. But like a lot of the bigger dominoes have to fall before everything else starts kind of lining up. I kind of view like, Chubba Purdy, it took him a while, a lot longer in my opinion, for him to, finally get that spot. I know there was kind of different circumstances with having to coaching change, having to switch schools, but like guys like that where you think, oh, we probably get picked up pretty soon, like pretty early, and it takes them, a month maybe to actually find a team. And I feel like it's a lot of time because everyone's waiting on the big dominoes, and it's not until those fall where everything else kind of starts to go.
That first, that first signing day, if you're a guy that doesn't want to make a decision in December and isn't going to early enroll. Now, if you want to early enroll, you're going to have to, sign in December.
Yeah.
But if you're a guy that's not going to early roll and you kind of want to see where everything's at, where everything settles, where the coaches are settled, and you want to wait till this February date, that plays into you. I think it's very beneficial for Nebraska because Rule also talked about this in his press conference. It's like, we're not a flashy recruiting team. Like, we don't show up in Lambos. We don't show up in Louis. Like, again, not a shot at Colorado. By the way, last time he said that, social media had a fit about it. But it's true. Just like homegrown Nebraska guys who are going in and being real with these recruits and getting to know them. He talked about how there's a rule that's now been overturned where you can talk to juniors when you go on these visits and start building these relationships a year ahead of time. He talked about how beneficial that is of like, hey, we can start to get to know these guys before they're even considering other schools and build those relationships. That's when they come into the program, they're already comfortable with Matt Rule. Like, they're already comfortable with the Nebraska program, and it sets this team up for a lot more success. Whereas some of the schools who maybe have more of a flashy dynamic of like, hey, right now, all in this year, not looking for the future, flash, pomp and circumstance. That's harder for some of these guys to stick around. And Nebraska, like we said, did not lose a lot of guys in the transfer portal. Everyone stayed. Everyone was built into the culture they were building. And that's a beneficial thing in this second signing period of like, hey, your first option didn't work out, or, the place you transferred didn't work out, or, hey, you didn't really find a spot because you didn't feel like it was home. Nebraska's your home.
See, I mean, Nebraska in its glory days, while I wasn't born yet to see them.
Right.
Nebraska was never the flashy, recruit team. It was just get the homegrown talent.
Right.
That's all it ever was.
Yeah.
Because there's enough talent in the state of Nebraska.
There is. And
Nebraska was letting a lot of talent leave the state. That was the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Even these pipelines of some of these other schools, like, yeah, sure, like Florida, if Miami or Florida State comes calling, that might be the more flashy option, especially Miami. But
yeah,
if you're a small town kid in Florida who's used to the grind and wants to put in the work, that's more appealing potentially than this flashy, all-in type thing.
I mean, yeah, Nebraska's Nebraska. It's not California.
You have
to
be that slow-building program.
Yeah. Nebraska hasn't had the recent success to be like, to hang their hat on, obviously. So it has to be just players buying into the culture.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to get your thoughts on before we finish up here. Glenn Thomas's new role as co-offensive coordinator. What are your thoughts? Satterfield, questions about him last year.
I mean, I feel like as much hate as Satterfield was getting, at the end of the day, there was just a lot of turnover problems with the quarterback position.
And Glenn Thomas is coming in to be specifically with the quarterbacks.
So, yeah, I mean, and Satterfield is also, I feel like they were having to change their offense.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Satterfield was comfortable with
guys that couldn't hold on to the ball.
Yeah. It made him, he was having to change his whole scheme, and it just didn't pan out. I feel like
we're through Iowa, there's going to be a lot of learning experiences for Satterfield to have to, play around to see what works. But I feel confident that him with Thomas, they can get
having that second guy that's
they
more
can
of
get
a
the most out of him. It's
play
not,
design guy,
not
for sure.
everything on Satterfield. They'll be able to delegate, stuff to Thomas. But with that, we got to wrap the show up. Thank you for listening to the Daily Nebraska Show on 937 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Peace.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me, whether it's in my car, apartment building,